Hey guys, how y'all been doing? I feel so bad and I feel so awkward. It's been a long time since I sat down and filmed a video. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Bria, for those of you who may have forgotten. Hey. So, okay, first of all, I want this video to kind of encapsulate what I've been doing, where I'm at right now, and kind of what you should come to expect from this channel moving forward. But also, I just woke up not too long ago. I'm currently at my mom's house, and oftentimes there are other people here living their lives, making their noise, and I'm trying to take advantage of them being gone for a little while. So I kind of jumped up and got myself together because I knew I wanted to film this video today. But yeah, I'm kind of in a temporary limbo of a place. This is my mom's office, so like the lighting is just gonna be what it is right now. And we're just gonna do the best with what we have. So for some of you, the last time you saw me, I was in Utah. And frankly, I don't know how clear I made it that I did not intend to do another season at Under Canvas Zion. So I was at Under Canvas Zion near Zion National Park, 2024. We're talking, spring to late fall. And in the camp closed in November, like the second week of November. One of my beautiful sisters flew to go, and she flew here from Texas, basically to Utah, to take the drive with me back to Texas, because at the end of the season, I knew it wasn't meant for me to do another season. It was a great experience working near Zion National Park. I do not regret that experience, but I just felt, for me personally, it was not meant for me to repeat it. I don't enjoy working in the desert. I think it's pretty brutal. It's great for some, but not for all. So I knew, at the end of the season, I just felt like it was meant for me to go back home. When I was in Montana, I felt like I was supposed to go back home to Texas. But I kind of wanted that Utah buffer just to think about it. And know that at the end of the season, if I truly want to go back home, I'd be a lot closer to driving to Texas from Utah than driving to Texas from Montana. So at the end of that season, my sister, again, like I said, she came with me. She flew in, and then she rode with me as I drove Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and then into Texas, all the way to Houston, which Texas is too daggone big. Like, I already knew that, but driving through like the western, like empty part of Texas, it's just like, what are y'all even doing with all this land? Like, yeah, there's some farming and some windmills, but
you got your West Texas out there with a bunch of flat ranches.
But in any event, I stopped at my sister's in Dallas, and then I came down to Houston, where I'm living currently with my mother, which is, yeah, that's an experience. Mental health where? Mental health who? But yeah, for those of you who needed some closure or confirmation, I do not intend to do seasonal work right now. I don't know if I'm not one to say never. I'm just not one to say never. But seasonal work was a tool for me to, get out of the small town of Beaumont, Texas that I was living in with no money and like no options. It was a way for me to get out of that, and also B, it was a way for me to travel in a cheap way. Obviously, it's just one way of traveling. Is still a passion of mine, a huge desire of mine. So traveling won't cease. But as of right now, I just feel like seasonal work, that door has been closed. Like, I just don't feel any motivation to do that at the moment, beyond the motivation I have just to travel, So I just want to kind of confirm that, because I know I have a lot of people who who will like give me like places that they think are great places to go, and like I think you should still put that in the comments, because at the end of the day, there are people who are looking for great places, and I still get DMs on Instagram from people who are looking for places to go. And if I hear about things, I will definitely DM you and let you know. I respond to all my DMs, you know, as long as it ain't crazy stuff, you know. But yeah, still put those things down in the comments because it might help somebody else. But just to pause and say, at this point in my time in my life, I don't feel like it's meant for me to continue to do seasonal work. And I think that that was meant for a particular season in my life. And I think trying to pull that into this season of my life just would cause more pain and like trouble for me. But yeah, so I came to Houston with the intention of staying here for a while. I don't know how long, that's up, you know, for God to decide, but I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be right now, even though I don't love Houston. I don't. But my mom is here. I don't know how much I've mentioned it, but my mom, probably 2 years ago, had a very life-threatening, life-altering medical event happen, which will affect her for the rest of her life. And because of that, it changes how she's able to move and live her life. And so as the oldest of her kids, I just felt like with her, and then my grandmother is still in Belmont and she's getting older, I just felt like I need to be here for this time period to get myself back where I need to be financially, and that's a whole another thing. I felt like this is just a place for me to be here to help my family, deal with some things family-wise, and then deal with things in my financial life that need to be improved. So we will be in Houston for the time being, okay? So I came here with the intention of finding a job, obviously. If I'm gonna live here, I was like, I need to find a job. It has been so hard to find a job, okay? Listen, I started applying for jobs before I even left Utah. I started applying jobs for jobs in like September, and like I wasn't hearing back from nobody. I'm like, can y'all see me? But I started applying for jobs when I was in September, because I already knew, I was like, I'm going back to Texas. I'm gonna stay with my mom for a while. I didn't find a job. I reworked my resume. I did all I could, and like literally I've applied, I know it's been 100+ jobs. I should have kept track with a spreadsheet, but I ain't that organized of a person. But I'm telling you, it's been well over 100 jobs that I've applied to since September. And it's been like 0 for 0. It's just been like nothing, goose egg. It wasn't even until I got into Texas that I got like some interest, like some calls. You know, I've applied for all kinds of things. I'm not even just specifically looking at hotels and resorts, which is obviously, you know, as I've been doing seasonal work, that's what I've been doing. I've been working front desk manager at hotels and resorts. The issue is I've been working at independent hotels, you know, and I don't know if you guys are aware, but like there is a huge difference between independent resorts, you know, these hotels and resorts that don't fall under the brand named hotels, like the brand name companies like Hyatt, Marriott, and Hilton. The operations are different. And when we're talking about applying for like supervisory positions, it's a huge hit to me. Not only that I don't have a lot of longevity on my resume because I've been doing so much seasonal work, but also that I don't have any brand hotel experience. And that's been a real barrier for me even getting callbacks for interviews. I had like one interview at a hotel in the Galleria area. I think it was a Hyatt. And you know, never heard back after that interview, it was a weird interview. But I've been applying for all kinds of things because when you know, what do they say? Beggars can't be choosers. So it's been a tough time. I'm not even gonna lie about it. It's been really tough. because I got here in November, like maybe it was 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. And so I was a bit distraught because I really didn't think it'd be that hard to find a job, you know? And on top of that, I'm living with my mom. I'm in Houston, Texas, which I'm already not 100% fond of. And then Thanksgiving is coming up. So I was mentally and emotionally just like really not in a great place. And then I had to like buckle myself up for Thanksgiving to have that with my family. And it was a, you know, a good Thanksgiving. I just was like in disarray internally. And then to make matters worse, I turned 30 years old in December. I turned 30. My birthday's on the 18th of December, and I turned 30, and I was a hot mess. I was a hot mess. It was not good. Like, I was so... I'm not gonna cry. It's fine. We're better now. It's fine. Come on in. I'm so annoyed. I'm sorry. I never come on here with the intention to cry. I'm just an emotional person in general. But yeah, 30th birthday was tough. I didn't even want to spend time with anybody because I just was not in the best place. So, you know, Chick-fil-A came through for your girl. I got like a free like 12 count or whatever. And I sat in the parking lot and just like watched stuff on my phone and ate Chick-fil-A, and that was it. That's all I could like literally bear. I was like gritting my teeth, and like it was like I don't know if anyone can relate. I'm sure there are people out there who can relate, because you know, a lot of people have had difficult, you know, upbringings or childhoods, but like I used to have a really hard time expressing my emotions, and what would happen, it was like my emotions would get so bottled up that I felt like I couldn't breathe. And that's kind of what was happening. Like, I just like couldn't be around people because I was like, I could not breathe. I could not like really communicate what was going on internally because I was just like frantic. I was like, what am I doing? I'm 30 years old. I'm living with my mom. Like, it was like all this like negativity. And at the end of the day, I'm just gonna talk through all this, so hopefully I'll just like stop. But yeah, it was pretty rough around that time. And I was definitely like praying and like asking God for guidance, because I knew it looked on the outside, it looked bad. But I really felt like, I know, hey! Anyway, so yeah, it was a rough time. And like I said, I was praying. I was trying to like focus on the positive, because I just found that like obviously focusing on like, I'm 30 years old, I'm living with my mom, and like I don't have a job, and like I didn't think it would take me this long to find a job, and literally all this stuff was just not good to harp on. So, you know, I really believe that God was trying to use this time to get me to focus on him and to really dive deep. I've been a very lukewarm Christian, kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out type of business. And I really felt that God was trying to get my attention and get me to a place where I really needed to rely on him. So that's really what's been carrying me through all of this. And I do have a job. Like I said, I was applying for anything and everything. Like I applied for everything. You know, I applied for this jewelry store, which it's embarrassing. I applied for this jewelry store. It's called Kendra Sky. It's a very cutesy little place. And it was in the Woodlands, at the Woodlands Mall, which is a nice area. But like that interview, it was the worst interview experience I feel like I've ever had. And it wasn't because the interview itself was bad. It's because like the interview was supposed to be like at like 8 o'clock at night, right? And like I hadn't been to the Woodlands area in a really long time. You know, I had the Hyatt place that I interviewed for call me the same day that I was like like an hour before I was set to leave my house to go to this interview, and honey girl was eating up all my time questioning, oh, are you staying in Houston? You plan to stay here? Because of all the seasonality on my resume. She was like questioning the heck out of me. And I was like, babes, you called me. Like, you already told the resume before you called me. What are you doing? And so I was messing with her, and then I was like running late as far as the time I set for me to leave and get there on time. And it's a little bit of a drive over to the Woodlands. Baby, I get to the Woodlands, right, for this interview with Kendra Scott. I get kind of turned around, and again, it's 8 p.m. Ow. It's 8 p.m. It's dark outside, and so I'm trying to find a parking spot to find this store. Lo and behold, the address that was on her email when she asked me to come and interview, the address that was on Google was it was an incorrect address. I literally could not find the store. I literally, like, 8 o'clock it came and went. Why did I even do that? 8 o'clock it came and went. Couldn't find the store. And like, my emotions were high because I was needing a job so bad that I just could not think very clearly. And so I was walking the block of where it should be, and there were all these stores, and it literally was like, oh, it should be in between the Chanel and XYZ. And I'm like, it's not here though. You know, and I was so frazzled that, like, I was walking, again, it was dark, and I step off the sidewalk and I fall. And then my mom let me borrow her shoes because I had stuff in storage and stuff. And like, her shoes were a little bit too big for me. I slip off the sidewalk, basically, like walk off the sidewalk and like miss a step, whatever, fall, like scrape up my knee, scrape up her shoes so bad they're basically unwearable. I just started crying.
I'm done. Cut the show. I'm done.
I'm bleeding. My knee's bleeding. I'm crying. And I called my sister. I'm like, I can't find the place. And she's like, what? Baby, it was ridiculous. Like, I find the location after calling them. They're like, oh yeah, we moved stores, and it's like farther up the street. And thankfully, like, it was this outdoor mall, so I could literally like walk to the store. But I get there, and like, at this point, it's like 30 minutes has gone by. It's like 8:30, 8:40. She's already in another interview. And she was nice enough to understand that it wasn't my fault I couldn't find the daggone place. But then she asked me to come back in the morning because they need to close up for the evening, because she asked me to come at 8 p.m. and they close at like 9 or 9:30. And so she asked me to come back the next morning. I'm burning gas doing that, only for, it was a decent interview, but like, I don't think it was meant to be, honestly. When I was sitting there waiting to hear from her that evening that she could not interview me that evening, which was not necessarily her fault because I was late, but that was her fault, so whatever. I was sitting there watching the girlies like talk to people about the jewelry, and I'm like, oof, oof, oof. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers, so I went ahead and, you know, still sat there. But yeah, came back the next morning, did the interview, it went fine, and then didn't hear back from her again, which was whatever, you know. But I do have a job. So I am currently working as a concierge receptionist at a retirement community. It's not great. It's not great by any means, and I'm only working part-time, which was not my intention, but it just is what it is right now. It's you know, sometimes I try to think like, God, where are you leading me? Like, what is this, you know? But I truly believe like God answered my prayer, but he also made it to where I still needed him, because the job is crazy. It doesn't operate, the facility does not operate well. It operates very poorly. It's not a great facility. Like, I wouldn't bring any loved one to live in that facility, to be honest. And working at the front desk, it's an easy job, don't get me wrong. But like, it's an independent facility, and so the residents are supposed to be well enough physically and mentally to live there independently. Like, it's not a full-fledged assisted living facility that has like around the clock medical, staff. Like the staff that work there are not, medically trained in any way, shape, or form. And so the people are supposed to be well enough to live there independently, but the thing is, they're not. A lot of them are not well enough. Thankfully, there is a in-house home care service that some of the residents are signed up with, and these are nurses and people who are medically trained to be able to help them and assist them with like taking their medication and getting up in the morning. But I'll have to get into it in another video, but it is a mess. And someone actually died there last year because the facility is so poorly run, but also there seems to be an ongoing HVAC issue where it's like when you need heat, it says look for me. When you need AC, it says look for me. And last summer, apparently someone died from heat-related complications or from something to that effect, because they were not heat-related, but like, yeah, it was heat-related because they didn't have AC, and it was Texas in the summer. So not a great place, but beggars can't be choosers. And I didn't know any of that before I came aboard. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I am working there. I'm supposed to be working there 4 days a week, but I'm only working there 3 days a week now, which is, yeah, it wasn't really my intention, but yeah, that's what's happening. So you're pretty much caught up. I am doing that. I'm also focusing on, I'm still applying for jobs. As we speak, I'm focusing on some creative endeavors right now, because when you're basically unemployed, you have the time to be creative. So I'm trying to focus into some digital art that I was wanting to get more into, while also delving more into reading my Bible, and really building up my relationship with God. And I was hoping, to get back into YouTube. Yeah, so you're kind of caught up for the most part. Yeah. So moving forward, I still am going to be traveling. It might be for a minute that, well, it definitely will be for a minute that I won't be able to do much of anything, because like I said, I'm only working part-time. I'm not one of these girlies that's going to go out here and get into debt trying to create content. Like, that's just silly to me at the end of the day, because I have to live with my own choices, and that's just not something I want to end up having to deal with later. So for the time being, I will make the content that I can. I do have a backlog of things that need to be edited and will be published. As far as my review of Under Canvas Zion, that video is like 92% done. So I do have a backlog of things that do need to be published. And after that, I will be making regular content, but I'll have to get a little bit creative, because like I said, I'm living with my mom. She works from home, and my sister is currently at home too. And so I don't have my own space to really do much, which is difficult. But I will do what I can. And then I will let you guys know as things change, where I'll be and what I'll be doing. But I still hope to travel at some point. Once I can, it'll probably be regional, within Texas, a little bit, which I think will be fun, because coming back to Texas, I'm like, dang, I can't stand it here. When it comes to the traffic and stuff, I'm like, y'all is crazy. Y'all is why the the Texas Department of the Texas Department of Transportation have these signs up on the freeway like, don't be aggressive. They literally say, don't be aggressive. You know why? Because everybody is aggressive here. It's bad. It's really bad. So yeah, there are some things I really want to explore in Texas, because I want to find some good in this place and some beauty in Texas. I know it exists, right? Yeah, it exists. Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm headed right now. Travel is still very much on the docket, but for my own financial well-being, it will just be pushed right now. So for those of you who are newly subscribed and probably wondering like what the heck is this channel, it is lifestyle / travel. It's the best way that I can kind of encapsulate it. But yeah, I thank you guys for sticking around. I thank you guys for watching this video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.